Okay, so we will continue the function. So here in this particular question, you need to write a function that outputs a conversion table for Celsius and Fahrenheit temperature. The input of function should be two numbers Ti and Tf. Specify the lower and upper range of the table in Celsius. The output should be two-column matrix. The first column showing the temperature Celsius from Ti to Tf with increment of 1 degree Celsius, and the second column showing the corresponding Fahrenheit temperature. So you have an initial temperature, you have a final temperature, and the increment is 1, Ti plus 1, that Ti plus 1 plus 1, like that is temperature is going on. So that is in Celsius, and the next one is degree Fahrenheit, T1, T2, like that, Tn should be there. So this is what we need to show it as an output. Okay, and what else is given? Initial. Okay, so this is what are things. Input should be two numbers. Your initial and final value should be there. Okay, that is in the Celsius value. So initial and final is there. Now it is our work to divide this Ti and Tf. Let's take Ti is 10 degree, Tf is 100 degree Celsius. So in between, what is the increment should be 1 degree Celsius. So 11, 12, like that we have to divide it, and correspondingly you have to convert it. So conversion here is the equations we can use to convert from degree Celsius to Fahrenheit, that you can get it from internet, or maybe you have already studied how to convert from degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. The equation is nothing but F is equal to 9 into C divided by 5 plus 32. 9C divided by 5 plus 32. So this is C is nothing but in degree Celsius, so you can convert into Fahrenheit. So first we need an array of degree Celsius temperature. We need the array of degree Celsius, that is from Ti to Tf, right? That has to be converted into F. Again an array, the same will be converted into, each value will be converted into Fahrenheit. Now what we need is a function file, right? It is not just a script file to output this value, right? So here we need to display these two values as a column matrix. So it should be a column matrix, that is Ti, like that is should be gone. The second answer, the Fahrenheit, should be like this, right? So that we can do it. Okay, anyway, what we can do, this is the program. So I'm just going to take that program and see how it's going to give the answer. So function T, I'll come back to why it's only T here. I'll come back to that. So anyway, this is how it works. You can see that this is a function file. Function file name, the right function name is conversion C to F. I just put, you can put anything. You can put your own name also, no problem. So this is your conversion to C to F, that is degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. Input, what is the input arguments? Your initial temperature and the final temperature, right? Initial temperature and the final temperature. That is the value the user is inputting. And your output argument is T. I'll tell you why it is T. So here, usually, according to what we discussed earlier, we can put the output argument is what? C, comma, F, right? That is your output argument, your degree Celsius and Fahrenheit. That is also fine, right? That is also fine. So let me save this file first. Conversion to that, same thing, I just save it. Okay, it becomes a function file, fine. And I'm going to call this file here, that is conversion CF. Conversion C to F of Ti, Tf. So initial and final value. So initial value I'll give 10 degrees and final value let's take 100 degrees. Okay, I'll make it a small values, right? Here the answer is what? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, like that is goes. So this is actually what? Any mistake is the 10 to 20. Okay, 10 to 20 only. So this is actually the degree Celsius only is coming. degree Celsius. These values are degree Celsius. So here basically we need C comma F, right? C comma F. So F value is there. So if you just put F, what is F? 1 second. Okay, I think that F is not working here. So we can just go here and see any F is given. Okay. Sorry. Here it is there, F as well as C also is there. So this is your degree Celsius and this is your corresponding Fahrenheit. Got it? So, but what I need, the question is like you need to final output should be in the column vector, but this is a raw vector, this is a raw vector, and this is also a raw vector. I don't want like this. I want it in a column vector. So that if you are just putting the output argument in the function here, whatever you want to put, this will give you a column vector only. The C will be a column vector and F will be a column vector. Sorry, raw vector. Sorry, it's my mistake. C will be a raw vector and F will be a raw vector. It will be in a raw vector. You cannot get it in a column vector. So what I can do is I'll just remove this output argument and I'll give and introduce another output argument T. And T I'll be defining inside the program. T is equal to C bar F bar. What is C bar and F bar? That also I'll mention here and here. That is basically the transpose. If you have an array, let's take C equal to 1, 2, 3. C bar is nothing but 1, 2, 3. This is a transpose. So this indicates transpose. So from this particular program, we are getting from this one, we are getting the C and F values are raw vectors. But that we need it in column vector. So we need to change, we need to transpose it. That is the reason we just put C bar and F bar. So C bar and F bar that I stored in another array called T, another variable called T. So that T I'm going to output it. Getting? That T I'm going to output it. So now I'll just save this once again. And I'm going to call the function 10 to 20. See here. So this is your temperature and this is your temperature in degrees Celsius. This is your temperature in Fahrenheit. Getting? So that's how we introduce another variable T. In that we stored the C dash and F dash. That is nothing but our column vectors. That T value I have called here output. So output argument can be anything. Just if you want only F, that is fine. Only C, that is fine. If you want to introduce another variable, maybe C square plus 2F, possible. Anything is possible. So here the output argument, you can introduce any kind of variable, no problem. So this is how you will be doing that. And here obviously you have to divide Ti to Tf into equal parts. Here the increment is given as 1, so that is a default value. So we don't have to put 1 here. If you put 1 also, doesn't matter. If it's a default value anyway 1 only, so we don't have to put that. So C also defined, F is also defined here. Okay. So next problem. Write a function of factorial to compute the factorial n factor for any integer n. The input should be a number n, output should be n factorial. So input is n, so input is your number and output is what? Your n factorial. So you have one output argument and one input argument. That is what is here, right? So we can just write the function I'll just write f factorial. I just make it as f. It's not necessary that you have to be in this one. You can just put f itself. Factorial, I just put factorial of n. Factorial of n. So n is your input argument. This is your function name. Input argument, function name. This is your syntax function. This is your output argument. So now we are talking about the factorial. So what is factorial? Let's take 5 factorial is what? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Right? 4 into 5. So that means each time this has to be multiplied with the numbers, right? Let's take basically what you do here is you multiply 1 to 2, 2 into 3. So whatever you get here, the answer that is 6 into 4, then that into 5. That has to be done. This has to be done. So this definitely this includes a loop. We need to introduce a loop. So here we introduce for loop. For loop we need to introduce. Okay, so how will you do that? So we need to identify how many times the loop has to be worked. So see here, I'll just put f is equal to, so what I need, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? So this many times I have to multiply each one, then finally you will be getting the factorial of that. So what I do here is I'll introduce a f value equal to n, f equal to n. So f is equal to, in this particular 5 factorial, we'll just take a problem 5 factorial. So I'm just introducing a variable. So function is defined, f is equal to 1, f is equal to n, I defined. F is equal to whatever the input argument is there, that is nothing but f value. So here the f value equal to 5 in this case. Now I'm applying the for loop. So for loop, your I value, if you look at this I value, I is from where? 1 to n minus 1. So this increment is 1 only default. So 1 to n minus 1 means I value is equal to what? 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there, because n minus 1, right? 4 is there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So inside what is that? Inside the for loop, what is that? F is equal to f into n minus 1. Sorry, n minus I. F is equal to f into n minus I. That means first case for the for loop, I value is equal to 1. At initially the I value equal to 1. So that means what is f value initially? It is already 5 because we defined as 5 here. N minus 1. So that is 5 minus 1. That is nothing but 5 into 4. That will be stored in f. So now your f is changed because now it is not going back to this value. Once it is coming to this, it is always going down. For loop is there. After the end, it's again going back to 4 only. It is not going back to f. So your now the new f is 20 will be the new f. Right? So now the 20 will be the new f. Now I'll do the same way. I become 2 now because once going back to for loop, I become 2. So this become 2. So f is what? It becomes 20. So 20 into 5 minus 2 is 3. That is 60. Now your f is changed to 60 again and going back to the starting of the for loop. So this becomes 60 and this becomes 3. So that is 60 into 2 will be there, that is 120. So now your f value is 120. Now again going back here, this becomes 120 and I becomes 4. So that 4 minus 1, that is 5 minus 4 is 1. So 120 into 1 will be 120 itself. So that 120 will be stored in f finally, and that would be your final answer. So that is how this particular for loop is working. Now I'll explain one more for loop. Here we introduce the f value equal to 5, that is called initialization. So instead of that, I can initialize f is equal to 1. There is a small change then. In that case, your for loop should be different. I equal to n minus 1 to 1. That n has to be reduced because previously 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 we have done. Sorry, so 5 into, 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 we have done. So here what we are going to do is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 we are going to do. The opposite way. That is the reason n to 1 we are taking and n minus 1 is there. Okay. This method you can try once. First you understand this method, and after understanding this particular method, you can try this method and see whether you are getting or not. Okay, anyway, I'll run this program once and see it. This you need little logic should be applied here. So I'll just save this file as factorial. Let it be the same thing. So if you have any doubt is there, you can message me. Okay. Factorial of 5 I'll take. Factorial of 5 is 120 is there. Answer is 120, or maybe you can take 15, 14. This is your factorial of that value. Okay, I hope you understood. Do the second method also, same idea only. Okay, so we'll discuss few more in the next session. Thank you.